Has normal service resumed in India, or will baseball be back? Welcome to the shiny side. I'm your host Faris, and we have with me from Houston, Omer Basir. How's it going, Omer?
Hi, Faris. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. And how you? I guess initial reaction to the second Test match in the series overall. We haven't had you on since it started. I think it's been some breathtaking cricket so far.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a fun couple of tests. It's kept the neutral excited because it's a 1-1. And the weird thing is, there's like a long, 10, 11-day gap, and even the England teams left the country.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. But no,
Which,
great cricket so far.
yeah. Which we'll talk about them leaving the country as well, because it's a talking point in India. I guess before we get started, right, I'm going to do the 55-second summary of the test. India won the toss, powered by Jaiswal's 209. They scored 396. And then England, who at one point 114 for one, were 250 all out thanks to Jasprit Bumrah's. I guess he took the wickets for number 3, 4, 5, 6, took 6 wickets, broke their back. And India in response scored. India got lead of 140, and India went again, batted first, scored 250. Gill scoring 100. They set a target of 390, which was never really going to be chased down. England didn't do too badly. They made 292 and they lost by about 100 runs. So that's the game in a nutshell. I guess the first question I have for you is, there's two views on what the series looks like right now. One view is that it's been like any other series in India. India has been on top, but Ollie Pope played this amazing innings, and that's why England won a game. And the other view is, you know what? England has been really good. They only messed up in the first inning of the second test. Which of the views would you align with?
Yeah, I think I'm maybe somewhere in between, but closer to I think England's definitely been extremely competitive. And I don't think this has been an India show by any means, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a very competitive series, and I think it's balanced right now. It could go either way.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing I've seen is, the thing with basketball is, initially it was a lot about creating a belief in the players, but it seems like now a lot of the English fans are always believing. But I think even the opponents now, right? Ordinarily, if India is chasing 390 or defending 390 with Ashwin and all, they think they're there, right? Like, you don't see Ashwin celebrating a wicket when he's defending 390 the way they were celebrating every single wicket in this game. So that was something which I just picked up on.
Yeah, that final innings chase, statistically almost impossible, but I thought England had a great chance.
So for sure,
that's, I think, what the belief it's instilled in us.
Yeah. Amazing. So I guess, and by the way, those of you watching, if you think basketball has run out of steam, or do you think England will come back, please leave a comment and let us know. But I guess, Omar, starting off with Jaiswal, this is his fifth test match, I believe. He's debuted this year, double 100 in a massive series, in an innings where nobody else scored even 50. What did you make of his batting and his approach and so on?
Yeah, looks really solid. I think in the first test, it seemed like he wanted to hit, every second ball out of the park.
Yeah.
I think he came with a better approach in this test, more balanced. Pitch had no demons, right? I think this was the beauty of this pitch, was it was a good test wicket where you could take your time and you weren't really worried about, getting an amazing ball in a little bit. So I think it was very good, solid in defense, punished them when they bowled badly. And he was the lone star in that first innings.
Yeah. And from an England's point of view, I guess Crawley's been really solid, right? He's been really good first up. He's got you could argue he should have scored, perhaps gotten a bigger score, but he got 270 odd, scored 150 runs in the game, which is obviously England's top scorer. And he's looked really good until he's got out. And this is a guy who there were question marks around whether he was good enough to be at test level until maybe 4 test matches ago. But he's really come into his own. And I think the backing he got from the batsball management, McCullum and Stokes, is really helping him out.
Yeah, I think, why I'm positive about England's chances are because, like you said, this guy's been playing, Crawley's been playing well, he's getting starts. Ben Duckett's got to start in every inning. So he's due a long one. Ben Stokes got 150 so far. So all of them are getting there. Ollie Pope's the only one who's gone on big. Joe Root still has yet to arrive to the party. So I think we're seeing glimpses, but specifically on Crawley, he's so much fun to watch. I think he's just fun to watch. He plays really good strokes. He has a long stride. And overall, they just make cricket fun to watch again.
For sure. And I think we have to talk about the man of the match, Jasprit Bumrah. He's become the first Indian fast bowler to become the number 1 ranked bowler in Test cricket. I think, especially in this game, conditions really brought reverse swing in, right? And in the first innings, he got 3, 4, 5, 6 wickets of those guys, and he kind of broke the back of the England side. And I think what makes him a bit unique, perhaps, in this day and age is, a lot of guys we've seen over the years reverse swing when they bring the ball into the right hander, but he also can somehow take it away from the right hander with his reverse, which is incredible.
Yeah, whenever you have somebody who can move the ball both ways at speed, which is what Bumrah does with the new
Yeah.
ball, but then
Yeah.
also can repeat it with the old ball. Man, what a bowler, right? Between him and Stark, again, they make fast bowling sexy again.
Yeah.
And between him and Cummins, sorry, make
Yeah.
fast bowling sexy again. It's just, yeah, he's a great performer. And honestly, maybe India should be concerned about their bowling in general, because besides Bumrah, nobody really has threatened.
So it's a good, I think that brings me to my next point, which is India spinners so far have taken 23 wickets at an average of 38. England spinners, who had a total of three test caps before this game, have taken 33 wickets at an average of 33. So they've taken more wickets at a better average. So if it wasn't for Bumrah, you would say England bowling would be much better. What do you make of that? I mean, that's just really hard to believe, right? Given that this is happening in India.
Yeah, for sure. I think, I mean, there's a couple of variables for me that come into play. I mean, the Indian spinners are very used to getting extremely spin-friendly pitches.
Yes.
There's no polite way to say it.
Yeah.
Dust bowls, and so then they know how to bowl in those conditions and get
Yeah.
people out, which is what home advantage is all about. Now, these pitches in both tests, in fact, haven't been dust bowls. Definitely not in the second test, and which means you got to be very disciplined. You got to have variety up your sleeve, and you need to work on the batsman. That's where basketball comes in, right? These guys don't let you settle. They get on after you. They're attacking you. So it's not easy as a bowler. You think, and I think not having Jadeja in the second test was a big blow to India. But you expect, I think, Ashwin to do better. Kuldeep is newish. Akshar Patel is newish from a test experience level. So, it's not really the same Indian team that's been winning test matches in the last few years.
And I think it's worth pointing out that we spoke about before the series, since 2021, 400 has only been scored 5 times in India, test matches in India. It would have happened probably 5 times in the series before that. And I think, which kind of indicates that pitches recently have been very spin friendly and not too good for batting. But it seems like India has kind of taken the pitches, like, they're not as spin friendly as they used to be. And perhaps it's in fear of, I don't know, if they feel like it would really bring the baseball guys into it. I don't know what it is, but I feel like England's ability to win games in different ways is perhaps affected the kind of pitches they're coming up with.
Yeah, and the captaincy, right? Ben Stokes' captaincy is always on the move. He's always thinking about something. He's very proactive. So I think that's part to play as well.
And you can never accuse him of being one of those guys कि जी पर्ची लेके आते हैं and just follows the plan. Like, he's always doing something new, always a plan B, C, D, E.
You can say it, Faris. He's not the Babar Azam test captain.
No, I that's not my view. You know that. But I was thinking of him. Yes. Okay, so I guess we've spoken about these guys. Jimmy Anderson, again, he's come into this. He didn't have the best Ashes, and people are wondering if he's still got it. But he's clearly been on the ball in India, and he's looked incredibly effective.
He was bowling in the 140s. I was just shocked at that. And he had control. He had swing. He did the job.
Jimmy has a better record in India than Zaheer Khan does with the ball in test matches. And it's a bizarre stat, but when you look, and also I think the fact that he's so miserly and so economical, right? He barely goes for runs in these conditions. He's got that knack. But
exactly.
So at the halfway point, India had a lead of 140. Now, ordinarily you say that's pretty dominant showing, but India also had a lead of 190 in the previous game. Did you give England a chance at that particular point?
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think you can count these boys out at any point in time. And again, I think the pitch, given how the pitch was, one long, they needed one session to go their way. They scored like a 4 or 5 run rate. And again, I think if Bumrah hadn't come to the party, this wasn't looking very good for India.
Also, I think England dropped Gill early on, and he went on to make 100. So there was also an LBW decision that was umpire's call, but I think he finally scored 100 after a long time. So well done to him. But I feel like that probably is just enough, right? And then like you said, 396 is that kind of score where generally statistically in test matches nobody really makes it, right? But with this England side, they're never really out of it. And at some point they were 132 for 2, right? So at that point they're like, hang on, can they do it or not?
Yeah, I know for sure. I think they if anybody could do it, it's them.
Yeah. Would you say Joe Root is a problem? He scored 52 runs and 4 wickets. I know he injured his finger in the second match. When he came out to bat, he was wearing some bandage. I think Michael Vaughan has written an article today, which I haven't read yet, but the headline is something along the lines of for England to win in India, Joe Root need to stop Baz bowling. So I'm not sure if I agree with that, because if you look at Joe Root's career average before Bazball, it was 49, and since Stokes has become captain, is 52. So statistically, he generally has done well playing under this regime. But what's your take? Where do you sit on that?
Right. Yeah. I haven't read the article either. And you were talking about England new ball bowler, right? That's the Joe we're talking about. So he's
Joe
taken on a
Root,
different role,
sorry,
right? He
Joe.
opens the bowling
I'm talking
for
about
England now.
yeah, Joe Root. Yes, of course.
Yeah, he's England's new ball bowler now,
Yeah, of
right?
course he is.
In India. So no, I don't think it's a problem, right? I mean, the opposition knows you're the prime wicket. Bumrah on fire. They always bring in Bumrah to
Yeah,
get him because of his. So it's not a problem. It's only been 2 tests. We know what he's capable of. And I don't think he's gotten out to outrageous shots and stuff. It's just been good bowling at him. So he'll come to the party. You know, we again, these players like him, we expect them to score big. And yeah, he's one who's adapted his game really well to Bazball,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
He's been awesome to watch to
Also,
this. So
you know,
I think
he was
I
the
think it's
he was
unfair.
the kind of he was the captain before, right? So each time you say how awesome this regime is, you are essentially kind of saying how it wasn't so good before, right? So I think it's really big of him not to take that kind of personally and continue to play as a batsman and give his all to the
Correct.
team.
For me, I guess, yeah, if you get the same pitch like you do in the second test, just play normal test cricket, and Joe Root, unless he gets a peach of a delivery, he's going to be scoring big runs.
So I have to go back to the toss, by the way. So India won the toss. Everybody bats first in India. In terms of the 11s, by the way, the teams went for, were you surprised that England only played one quick on this track?
Yeah, I was. Especially given the inexperience of the trio, I thought they'd, have Matt Wood for the pace and then bring James Anderson in as well. So that was a bit of a surprise, but I think they know that there's not much of an impact. Mark Wood did okay. I don't think he had the impact they would have wanted. So maybe they thought, with the spinners, all the spinners did reasonably well in the first test. So I think it kind of made sense.
Yeah. And I guess by the way, those of you watching, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. But the big question, so you've got to talk about this before, right? So England now have a 10-day break, and they've actually gone off to the Abu Dhabi. They actually didn't even arrive in India till 2 days before the series started. So this is, I mean, their thing is they want to, because it's a very long tour, they want to get away and play some golf. And apparently the family is also joining them there. There's been a bit of noise in India about how why do they need to go away from India and not just be here, not just chill out here, but like they're in Abu Dhabi, they're hanging out, they're playing golf, the families are hanging out with them. And any views on this?
Yeah, it brought back memories of when I was young and in school, right? The days when it's final exam season, right? If I wasn't stressed on that night before the final exam and it was just chilling out, it was because I was prepared in advance and I wasn't worried about it. I was going in with full confidence, and I kind of related to that they're not worried. They know they're prepared. They've done the preps. Mentally, you got to be in the zone. They're relaxed, and that's what they're doing. They've done the hard work. Now let's mentally go chill out. Take a break, get away from the media and all the noise in India, and go back in fresh. So it's a very well thought out plan.
And again, right? Like we barely do 5-match test series, right? So it is a long tour for sure. So I guess
I do have a disclaimer. There was only 1 or 2 nights where I was chilling the last day before.
Your parents are not watching, so it's all good. But but that's an interesting one, right? And one thing they did in Abu Dhabi, they said the reason they spent the pre-camp there is when they were training there. They said they actually took like whatever bats, etc., and they roughed up pitches really badly and batted there. And they said when we play a side match in India, we would normally get like a super flat track with like medium pacers bowling to us. So they actually managed to, I guess, mirror the conditions they wanted to have there. Now, moving forward, the next test starts in about another 9 days or so.
That's brilliant.
Kohli is unavailable. The news coming out today is he won't be there for the next 2 games as well, unfortunately, and best wishes to him for whatever he's dealing with. KL Rahul potentially is back for India. Who would you leave out with the bat? I'm guessing Gill, after scoring his 100, is not going anywhere. So I guess do you leave out Shreyas Iyer or you leave out this Patidar guy who just came in the last game?
Yeah, I mean, you leave out the guy who just came into the last game, right? I mean, he was the one came from bench. He wasn't even on the original squad, right?
Yeah, no, he wasn't. Yeah. And in terms of
goes out, and then
So in terms of the bowling, would you stick to this Mukesh Kumar? Do you think they have the balance right, Bumrah and a CMO and 3 spinners, or would you bring Siraj in, or how would you look? I'm assuming Shami's not fit for the series.
The balance is okay, but I would definitely bring Siraj back for Mukesh because Mukesh had nothing to show. I mean, there was nothing that stood out, whether it was his line length, control, or swing, or seam, anything. Nothing. In fact, he gave away way too many runs in the first innings at a very high run rate. So he's giving England the starts they like and want. So I would bring, not that Siraj is a control bowler, but Siraj has the knack of picking up, extracting any movement early on. So I'd bring Siraj back.
And as far as England is concerned, I guess the top six kind of selects itself. The only question is around the bowling. So I'm guessing Jimmy will play the next game, considering how good he was. If Jack Leach is fit, how do you see the ball? How would you line the bat bowling? Would you still have three spinners and Jimmy, or would you bring in another quick?
Yeah, this three spinner thing is working well, and they're all chipping in with wickets. So it's a very difficult decision of who do you drop out, right? I'm wondering if they're going to rotate Jimmy purely for.
I mean, it's there's 10 days though, right? So you'd think it's enough time. Yeah,
you're right. So yeah, I would pick the same 11. I mean, I don't. Jack Leach has some good performances in the past, but I don't know if he did enough in the first test to replace anybody.
I think someone on the Wisdom podcast said that they won't be surprised if Jack Leach is kind of made to sit out the rest of the series, even if he's fit. And once the English summer comes back up, he's the number one spinner again, because they're very different conditions, very different.
And with the three spinners they had, they've got a leg spinner, they've got an off spinner, and then they've got a left arm orthodox. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So I guess the rest of the games are going to be now in Rajkot, Ranchi, and Dharamsala. I think there was a couple of comments from England tourists and players about how they actually play games in the most least known stadiums as opposed to the big cities and so on and so forth. But you know what? Other England teams from older generations may have whined about this, but these guys are really getting on with the job. And of course, heading off to Abu Dhabi when they don't need to be there.
Yeah, if you have that option, who cares where you play when you're in town for 4 days?
Life of a cricketer is tough these days.
Yeah.
But I guess before we finish up, any final comments? How do you see the series developing? And what do you want to see? Who do you think will be the players you really want to see develop?
I'm excited to see. I really hope Virat comes back. Maybe for the last couple of tests. Definitely missing watching his batting. India people are showing up. Shubman Gill for a century. But Rohit, I want to see Rohit play a big knock. But excited to see Bumrah do what he does. But baseball, right? We need I think it's just exciting. Right, teams play very differently, but have their own winning way of doing things, and just excited to watch.
I have a lot of respect for England. They kind of reinvented the white ball cricket 8-9 years ago, and now they're doing the same to the test side, right? So it takes a lot of guts and a lot of intellect perhaps to do this, but kudos to them.
Yeah, guts. I think guts more than anything. So
yeah. Okay, good stuff, Omer. Thank you for being on, and we'll have you again later in the series. And for those of you watching, please stay tuned to the shiny side.